Hello everyone, welcome to Corpor Any. Today we need to see this here the Flutter inside need to develop here the online glossary, admin apps we need to develop here, and into inside we need to creating here the brand managements UI we need to develop. First of all we need to brand list, then after brand add and brand edit delete need to calling here and to brand management need to manage here. First of all, so need this here the view. You need to open this here the old user apps and to copy here the accounts you need to need here. Now this is the old codes and this is the account you now need to reveal and finders and to use this here. Not create here the newly you need to use this here the old codes. If you not see this series, then first of all you need to see this series and need to use this here. Now need to copy here the account view and account list view. We need to need this here. Now need to copy two lines. We need to need here. Now need to copy here the account view. First of all need to make inside the years. Now need to close this here. No needs now. View inside need to write down here. Accounts tabs inside create here the brand folders and now need to put this here the account view like this. We need to putting here the accounts view, remove here the unused codes first of all, and also need to remove here like this. Then after need to remove here the unused data. Payment method promo codes, maybe in futures we need to add subjects, need to create here the promo codes. That's one to needs. Also need this here the notifications view. Need to comment here these codes only the UI navigations and also comment here this brand and to change this here the titles brands like this and about us also need to helps needs here and logouts buttons all are the needs. Now need to save here and also need to configure inside the main tab view. Now need to give this here the account view and to set here the const value like this sets here. Now need to save and to restart this app. Now restarting here the app. Now need to click on accounts and to show like this here the UI and to give this here the brands inside. We need to create here the first of all view. Now need to already create here the brand folders inside. First of all making here the new files and to create here brand view dot dots and also need to another create here the brand pro dot dots like this creates and also another brand adds update deletes add updates. So need this here the UI for the brand add view dot dots like this creating here. First of all now making here the brand view and to use this here the GetX state management need to create already creates previous day inside the GetX controllers for the brand. Need to create here the brand view models. Need to develop here done, but now need to integrate here the brand view. Now first of all need to create here the stateful widgets. Need to write down here the stateful widgets and to give this here the name brand view like here and then after need to import here the material dependency. Now need to create here the scaffold like here and now need to create here the first of all need to create here the GetX class. Need to get final, need to get this here the BBM is equal to need to call this here the get dot puts methods. Need to call here and need to pass this here the dependency brand view models. Need to give this here like here calling here. Then after need to call this here the displays into if this display this controls and to delete this here the controllers. Need to get delete get dot delete and now need to pass here the brand view models. Need to clearing here needs here like this. Need to calling here. Then after need to create here the app bars. Need to develop here. Need this here the back buttons, titles and action buttons for the adding new brands. Need to develop here first of all. Now need to develop here the app bars Inside we need to create here the background colors. We need to set this here the white colors, color white, like this sets. Then after we need to give this here the evaluation 0.5. Then after we need to set here the center titles. We need to set here the true. And then after we need to create here the leading icon for the back buttons. We need to develop here. Now need to set here the icon buttons. And to give this here the on press events, we need to write down here the navigation pop, navigators get dot pop, need to call seers. Now need to creating here the icons. First of all need to go inside the create here the image assets, and to give this here the name back icons. Now to select here the back copy relative path and to paste this here. Now we need to set here the width and height. So need to given this here the 20, like here, and we need to configure this here. Now we need to develop here the add action buttons. We need to develop here into action. Inside we need to create here the button first of all. So now need to copy this here the button icon buttons, and now need to give this here the add icons. Now need to find out here the add copy relative path, and we need to put this here. Also need to give this here the colors. Set here primary colors, T color, primary colors need to given this here, and also need to clean this here. Like this need to UI are the sets configurations, and now need to go inside the account view, and now need to give this here the configure this UI, uncommit these codes, and to set here the brand view, like this configures, and to set this here. Now need to go here and to click here and opening, and to start crash UI need to check here. Maybe another issue or flutters, that's why crash maybe. Now again runs. Now waiting for the loading this app. Now build done, and look like this here the showing. Now click on accounts, click on brands, and opening this years. Now need to set here the titles, brand view, and to set here the title, text. This here the titles names as a brands. Now need to set here the style, text styles. Set here color dot p color primary text, and now need to set here the font 20, and we need to set here the font weight bold 700. Like this we need to configure this for titles. Now need to save, and to showing this here the add brands. Now need to develop here the background colors. We need to set here first of all, then after need to develop here the bland list UI. Need to develop background colors. Need to set color white, like this sets. Now need to create here the body first of all. Now need to set here the stack children's, and also need to set here the alignment. Need to given here the alignment as a center from center. Now we need to call this here the observable objects ops, and to like this sets. And first of all need to check this here the vm dot list array dots. Need to check here the is empty, then need to showing here the text empty, set here brand is empty. Now need to set here the styles, text styles, set here the color, the color, primary text. Then after set here the font size 20, and you need to set here the font weight, bold 700, and to write down here the list. Now need to develop here the list view with separators. We need to call this here build context first of all, context dot comma index, and we need to return this here the view containers. Now need to set here the statically. Then after we need to set here the separators. We need to give this here the some space between here the two cells, context and index, now like this given, and to return this here the size box, give this here the heights, and to set this here the 15, and we need to set this here the const value. Now need to give this here the context items, need to counts, need to give this here the bvm dots, need to give this here the list array, and to set here the length like this. Need to configurations are for this years, and also need to set this here the padding. So need this here the const edges insert symmetry. Also need to set here the 20, not use here the symmetry. If you give this here the different heights, horizontal width and horizontal heights, you need to difference, then to use this here the symmetric. Like this, you need to needs here the configurations for the UI, and to configure this here. Now need to save this here the files. Needs here. Now need to go inside the brand row. Need to develop here. First of all, need to create here the statelet widgets, and to give this here the name brand row, and also need this here the imports here the material dependency. Now need to create here the finals, and to give this here the brand models. Need this here the parsing here, and to set this data. Now need to give this here the objects, and also need this here the two buttons. Needs first one is the edit buttons, and second one is the delete buttons. Now need to write down here the void click events. Need to give this here void callback, and to set here on edit, and another need to void on delete. Like these actions are the two actions are the needs. Now need to given this here, and to add this here the parameters. Now we need to develop here the UI. First of all, we need to set here the padding for this UI. Const edges insets, we need to set here the symmetric. Horizontals, we need to give this here the 15s. Like these configurations are the needs. Now need to create here the decorations. We need to set here the box decorations, to give this here the colors as a color white. Then after set here the border radius, we need to set this here the circular pie. We need to set this here. Then after we need to give this here the box shadow. We need to set array, and to now to set here the box shadow. Set here the colors black 12. So need to set here. Also need to set here the blur radius. We need to set here the 2. Like these configurations are the needs here, and then after need to create here the childs, to create here the row, and to create here the inside the children's. First of all, need to expand text, need to write down, and to showing this here the brand names. Need to creating here. Set here the expand, inside need to write down here the text, and now need to give first of all the text. Object dots, need to call this here the brand names. Property need to use if optional value, that's going to give this here the blank. And also need to set this here the styles. So need to set text styles, give this here the color, the color primary text need to provide here. Then after we need to set this here the font size. We need to set here the 16s, and font weight we need to give this here the medium 600 semi bolds, not medium, semi bolds. Need to set this here the 600. Also need to set here the const value, and give this here the comma, and to fix this here the for like settings here. And now need to developing here the edit buttons need to develop here and delete buttons need to develop. Set here the icon buttons on press inside need to give this here the on edit events. Then after need to create here the icons dots need to given this here the edit square. We need to set this here edit underscore squad like this set here. Then after need to given this here the colors. Color primary colors need to for edits need to use this here. Then after need to set here the font size. Size need to give this here the 20, not font size, only size like this setting here. Also now need to copy here these buttons and to create for the delete buttons on delete need to write down on press events. Then after need to set here the delete icons like this and to set here the colors as the red, color reds like this and to set here the const value. Like these configurations are the needs for the showing here the row of the brands. Now need to given this here the past value. First of all need to get this here the value inside save inside the one variables wheres and to give this here the object is equal to need to write down here the bvm past list array and to give this here the indexed value like this calls and now need to pass this here the brand row and to pass this here the object as a object and on edit need to give this here on edit event and after need to set here on delete events like this need to creating here and to set this here and look like this here the showing this data Bing's and Amul's brands need to show this here and show here the edit buttons and delete buttons. Now need to create first of all the add buttons need to develop here and also need to configure this here the API. Need to needs here now need to go inside the add view and to develop here the view. First of all need to need this here now need to set here stateful widgets and now need to give this here the names as a brand add view and also need to use this same view inside the edit need to use but we need to give this here the some flags so need to set here. First of all now imports here the material dependency and to set here the some edit flags so need to set give this here the bool and to set is edit like here and need to configure at these parameters not needs here the requires by default need to set here the false conditions. If not pass this here the value means the add view need to develop here. Same as now need to create here the controllers need to given this here the controller variables need to set here. PVM is equal to need to write down here get dot puts and to create here the brand view models adds and to set here the brand view models like this and to semicolons like this need to setting here and also need to write down here the dispose and to first of all need to write down here the get dot deletes all here and need to pass this here the controller's name brand view models and to semicolons for the dispersing are the need this here the release these controllers. Then after need to controller inside need to view this here the width and height so need to context dot width use this here the get extension methods and also need to give this here right context dot height so need to write down here. Then after need to give this here the alignments need to because need to creating here the center UI that trying to set this here the centers and now need to create here the childs and also need to making this here the another container so need to develop here. First of all now need to give this here the margins for the pop-ups. Edges insets need to set here the symmetric horizontals need to give this here the 14 for margins need to given now need to set here the paddings. Const edges inset symmetric need to set here now need to give this here the horizontal 20 and also need to give this here the vertical 20 need to set here like here. Then after need to give this here the width, need to give this here the double dot max width, max width. So need to set this here the width like here. And now need to create here the decoration and to draw here. Now need to go inside the brand row and to copy this here the decorations need to needs here, and now need to paste here. Then after need to create here the column childs, and need to end this here the brackets. Need to remove this like this settings here, and to set here the 15. Now need to set here the first of all the titles text. Now need to set here is widgets is edit. Then to give this here the edit titles, else parts need to call this here the under the condition inside add new brand, add new brand, and need to here gives this here edit brand like the sets here. Now need to set here the styles. Styles. Now need to set here the color. The colors need to set here the primary colors. Then after need to font size. Set here the 20, and font weight need to also set here the bold 700 like this. You need to configure this here the titles. Then after need to give this here the some width need to provide. Font size box we need to set here. Heights we need to give this here the 25, and also need to create here the text fields need to set here. Before need to create here the observables, because we need to use this here the GetX controllers value. Need to use this here the edit controllers. Now need to use this here the obx like here. Now need to set here the line text field. Use this here the titles. So need to set here the brand name. Set here the placeholders. So need to set here the enter name. And now need to pass this here the comma first of all. Now need to give this here the controllers. Need to given this here the bvm dots. Need to call this here the txt brand name values like this. Need to passing here give this here the comma. Now like this sets here the text fields, we need to configure this here. Then after need to another space, we need to given this here the same space, we need to copy and paste. Now need to create here the round buttons, and to set this here the titles. If widgets is the edit, then to set here the update button. Else parts need to set this here the add button. Like these buttons need to given this here the name, and to write down here the on place event here, and need to call this here temporary. Need to set here the navigators dot pop this context. Like these configurations are the needs, and to save this here. First of all need to configure this here the buttons need to needs here. Now need to go inside the brand view and to configure this here the button. Now need to go inside the actions, so need to find out here the add. Now use this here the getx dot bottom sheet, so need to call this here. Now need to given this here the brand add view like this past, and to const value set here. And another property need to set here the background colors need to color transparent, so need to set this here. Then after is scrollable, so need to set here the true. Right, like this we need to configure this here, the opening here, the bottom 6. Now need to see this here, the UI. Click here, look like this show. Need to first of all making here the some issue. Need to go inside the add view and we need to write down here the minimum size. Main axis minimum size we need to set this here and look like this here, the UI need to showing here. Now need to bind with the view controllers. Need to set here the adds, updates and delete. Need to write down here. First of all, now need to set here the full screen and to write down here some modifications are the needs inside the view controllers. Now need to go here and to setting here the one by ones. First of all, need to give this here the actions. Void callbacks need to needs. This GetX inside the models inside the not automatically get dot back methods are not working. That's why to use this here the callback events. Did done's need to call yes. And also need to give this here this API inside need to pass this here the same parameters. Void callback and did done like here calling here. After the gets here the successfully need to call this here the did done's methods need to call here like same as need to given this here the updates API need to pass here and need to copy and we need to set this here after the success and also need to given this here did done. Now here only creating here the add brands we need to call here. Now need to another need to opening here the edits brands we need to call here need to develop here the actions for the edits. Need to write down here the void actions and we need to give this here the edit modes need to calls. If edit button click then to call this here this action. Write down here the brand models objects need to pass this here. Then after need to check here the this value in this text fields need to given this here the value dot text need to pass this here the object dot brand name optionals value like this need to configure this here. Then also need to configure here the brand objects dot value need to set this value as a objects like here. Then after need to opening this here the GetX edit modes inside the add view need to open here. Now need to go inside the brand view and to find out here the actions for the add brands view. Copy here. Now need to given this here. Also need to import this widgets here and now need to give this here the is edits need to write down here the true. Like these configurations are the need for the edits. Now need to save this here the UI and also need to write down here the update actions. Need to create here void write down here the actions dot update buttons actions need to develop here. Set here the did void callbacks need to needs here done here. And also need to calling this here the same copy here paste this here and now need to set here API updates and need to pass here the brand ID. Set here brand objects dot value dots need to give this here the brand ID. Call this here the question mark dot to string. If not gets then to blank need to pass here. Need to always get this here the value. That's here the not matters here. Like this need to updates API need to calls here for the action of the updates. Then after need to same as need to call here the delete actions. Now need to copy here the edit and now need to paste here. Give this here the delete actions like here. Then after removing here the this value no needs. Now need to call this here the API for the deletes. Remove here the done buttons no needs and also need to change here API delete. Remove this here the brand names. Like this API calling for the deletings for the UI and also make sure you need to clear this here the text fields here always, and also need to write down here. Now need to save this here. Now need to bind this here the all actions event. First of all, now need to go inside the add view, and now need to given this here. First of all, need to make here the conditions. If widgets is added, then we need to call this here the BVM dots. We need to call this here the action updates. We need to call this here, and if done, then to return this here the pop the screens. Successfully call and to pop the screens. Same as now need to call this here the BVM dot actions for the adding, and same as need to give this here actions and to save this here. Like this configurations are the needs here for the this UI. For add update, both are the same screen answer to give this. Only we need to differentiate the set here the flags, and also need to selecting times need to set here the configurations. Now need to find out here the edit actions for this row. Now need to set here the BVM dots actions edit, need to calls and to pass this here the objects here like here. Same as now need to call this here the VMs, and action deletes need to calls here, and like this you need to pass this here the value. Now all things are the done. Now need to test these apps work or not. So need to checking here. Restart these apps, and now we need to test here. Now need to go inside the account tabs, select here the brand, and now need to click on edits, and now need to automatically edit here the value. Now need to give this here and to call this here the updates brand update successfully. Need to getting this here. Same as again need to edits, get like this here, and to clean this here. Now need to click on and to add here the new, and to give this here the names as a Balaji, and need to create here the ads. Use brands add successfully, but not reload this here the UI. Maybe need to back and to check again. So why not updates? Go here. It done. Also here's also shows list API calls. Maybe I need to call here. Brand view, and we need to write down here the reload. Like this. Save here. Now again we need to add this here the brands and to check reloads or not. Even this here the one like this, and to automatically refresh this here. Now click on deletes and to call this here the fails. Need to check switch value, need to pass here. Maybe need to give this here the wrong value inside the delete to give this here the object set here. Sorry for that. Click here again, and to brand deleted successfully, need to get this here and to call this here the methods. If you like this video, please give the thumbs up. If you're new user, so please subscribe my channels and press the notification bell icon. You can get every new video notifications and awesome content. If you have any questions, so please write down the comment sections. I will help you and sort out your issue. Everyone have a nice day. Goodbye and take care.